This video will review how to build a quiz or assessment in Canvas. First of all, I've already logged into Canvas and I've already entered into the course I'd like to build the assessment. On the left-hand navigation menu, I'm going to click on Assessments. Remember, even though this is grayed out because I currently have teacher privileges, I am able to click and enter assessments. Once here at the top, you have an option to add a quiz. When we click here, we'll have our options for how we want to add a quiz. First, we must name the quiz. Second, we can add any instructions that we'd like to add for this quiz for students to be successful. This can be reminders of how many opportunities they have to take this assessment. It could be to remind them that they may or may not use notes, etc. Underneath this box, you have options for the type of quiz or assessment that you're going to provide. Your options are 1, a practice quiz. Note that faculty will not be able to see performance on a practice quiz. It would solely be for students' use. A graded quiz. A graded quiz will allow faculty to see all attempts and all student work on the quiz. A graded survey. This allows you to give students credit for participating in a survey. And then an ungraded survey, which basically has the same survey functions as a graded survey, but does not allow you to assign any credit or points for completing the survey. For the purposes of this demo, we're just going to focus on graded quizzes. If we've created an assignment group, we can choose what assignment group this quiz should go in. We have the choice to shuffle our answers. So when we have a multiple choice question, the answers would be shuffled for each user. And we also have the option to set a time limit. I'm going to set a time limit of 15 minutes for this quiz. I can choose to allow my students multiple attempts. I can choose how many allowed attempts. And I can also choose to either keep the highest quiz score or the latest quiz score. In this case, I'm going to choose the highest. I have granular options for letting students see their responses, either after their last attempt, after each attempt, and I can also choose whether I want to let them see correct answers. I can also set a time frame during which time that students can see correct answers. The quiz will default to show all questions at once. However, you can choose to show one question at a time. You can require an access code or password to access the quiz. You can enter in IP addresses if you'd like students to only participate on the quiz in a specific lab space. And available come spring, you'll have the option to use Respondus Lockdown Browser, but we will not be discussing that in this version of Lowtie. At the bottom, you have an option to set a due date and an availability of the quiz. So say a student will only be able to take a quiz all day on a Wednesday, you can set the availability, and you can also set the due date for that same Wednesday. And then I can save all of these quiz changes that I've made. Back up at the top, you'll see I have another tab called Questions, and this is where I can choose to add questions to my quiz. I have a few options here. First, I can just type and add new questions by clicking on New Question, selecting what type of question I'd like to add, multiple choice, true, false, etc. Typing in the question, I move the arrow to mark which answer is correct, and I have a small box here where I can add feedback based on which answer that the student selected. I also have a bubble below where I can enter general feedback to the student whether or not they got the question right or wrong. I click Update Question, and the question will appear in my question list. I can also add a question group. This will allow me to create a group of questions, and then I can pick a certain number of questions from this question group to be randomly imported as a part of my quiz. Lastly, I can find questions. So if I want to import a question bank from, say, a textbook publisher, I can do so, and then I can pull the questions in to my quiz here. When I'm happy with the questions that I've added to my quiz, I can simply click Save, and this will allow me to save my quiz. Currently, my quiz is unpublished. If I want students to be able to view my quiz, I'll need to select the option to publish the quiz. Once a quiz is published, on the right-hand side, I'll have an option as an instructor to moderate this quiz. When we click here, you'll be able to see a list of your students. You'll be able to see how many attempts they have left on a quiz, how much time they used, and how many attempts have been used, and their current score. You'll also have an option at this level to add either attempts or more time for students. This is very important if you have students who have accommodations from disability services. That is how you build a quiz in Canvas.